Hey guys, today I have another what should be very delicious recipe, and I'm doing this one straight. No funky flavors, no big heat. It's just going to be a real core dish, but really healthy. So I've made modifications to what I know, and I'm combining things I like. I have not cooked this one before, so this is just kind of me winging it, but I think it's going to come out just fine. It is a crawfish and crab bisque. I love bisques, I love soups, I love seafood, so this is combining stuff that I really enjoy. And it's going to be really easy to make. There's just a little bit of prep, and it's just chopping some veggies and then just going to town in one big pot. Really super easy. First of all, we are dealing with crawfish. I'm using frozen crawfish here. It's pre-cooked, and we're not doing this Cajun, so we're not using any kind of boil or spices or anything. All we have to do to that is, while I'm chopping the veggies, I'm going to throw it in some boiling water just to thaw it out so we can take the meat out of the shells. And that's it. This is a 3-pound bag, and again I'm doing what should work out to about 2 gallons, probably a little bit less in this case. And that 3-pound bag is about half shell, so there's about 1.5 pounds of crawfish in there in the end. And then the other half of that is the crab meat, and I'm saving a lot of money in this compared to the last crab recipe. The last one, the crab was in the forefront. It needed to be big, chunky, good crab. But this is going to be half pureed. I'm going to do half of this through the blender to make it very smooth and creamy. And we've already got the big chunks of the crawfish, so we don't really care about having huge chunks of crab. So I saved a lot of money, and I bought these just regular cans of white crab meat, and this is less than half the cost of buying lump and even less than buying claw meat. You can get it a little bit cheaper if you get the pink variety, but in my opinion the flavor is a little different to that. It has more of a fishy flavor than just a straight crab flavor, and it was only like 30 cents less a can, so we went with these. And I got 2 pounds of this, of just the regular white crab meat. We're going to use half of a bunch of celery, 4 or 5 stalks. We're just going to very finely chop this up. This is not going to have any chunky veggies in it. We're going to put the veggies in it, but they're going to be very, very finely chopped and minced. We just want the flavors in here, not the textures. If you can find shallots, use those. They're kind of hard to find around me, so I'm just using one small to medium white onion. And again, I'm going to really mince the crap out of this. Again, no onion texture, we just want the flavor. But did I say shallots? I meant chives. If you have chives, chives will give you great onion flavor without having to use a lot of it. So if you can find chives, use those, chop those up finely. If not, white onion is just fine. We are going to use shallots, and I have 16 of them here, and we're just going to very finely slice these. Kind of like an in-between garlic and onion kind of thing once you get the wrapper off of it. And we don't need to mince this, we're just going to very finely slice it, and it's going to be sauteed, so those will just about disappear and just give us great flavor. And then for the bulk of the soup, it's made up of clam juice. I've got about 4 cups worth, 4 little bottles here, and 4 quarts of fat-free half and half, which again I have found to be awesome for cooking. And these things are only $1.50 a quart. So, I mean, not as cheap as milk, but way, way cheaper than heavy whipping cream or anything like that. And we're going to use some lemon juice. You can use fresh lemons if you want, but it's going to be just a subtle little flavor. Again, I like using citrus in some of these healthy recipes to give it a little bit of bite and zing without adding anything negative. So we're just going to use a few teaspoons, and I just get kind of tired of having to buy fresh limes and lemons just to juice them. And the roux is going to be whole wheat flour. Now the only drawback to using this in this recipe is if you used all-purpose flour, you would have a beautiful white soup. This is going to give it a darker color, so presentation-wise that's a negative, but it's not going to affect the flavor. That stuff's just awesome to cook with. And last but not least, well, not last, almost last, minced garlic. Again, I love these huge bulk containers. You can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Sam's, Costco. So cheap and absolutely delicious to use for cooking. I have no problem. I can't imagine going back to regular garlic cloves. I mean, this stuff's just awesome. a little bit of salt and some pepper just for general seasoning, and some ground red pepper, not pepper flakes, some ground red pepper, just to give it a little kick. This is not a heat recipe. We're only going to use, I'm probably going to put in about a tablespoon for the whole pot. So again, nothing big there. And then this is the only optional part. I'm going to put in probably about a cup of Chardonnay, and this is just for flavor. I'm going to reduce it down, and just to help give the veggies a little more well-rounded taste. And I went with the Chardonnay because that would happen to pair very well with it as a dish. So if you want to have some with it, this would be a good pair, and it's already open. But again, if you want to save a few bucks, simply omit this. I got everything here for just over 60 bucks. So you're in the mid-50s if you drop out the wine. I got it on sale. And that is it. So now what I have to do is prep the veggies. I'm going to boil the crawfish and shell them, and then we'll get cooking. Alright, our crawfish is thawed out here. Just turned off the heat. So I'm going to peel those as soon as I'm done with the veggies. This is what the shallots look like once you peel it. You just want to chop the ends off kind of like a garlic or an onion, and then take the first layer off just like an onion, and we're just going to finally slice them up. Alright, crawfish is up to temp, and I've rinsed them off just to get off any extra Cajun seasoning that might have been on them from the package, and then I put in some cold water just to cool them down so we can easily handle them and shell them. Got the veggies all chopped, those are ready. So here's how you very quickly do a crawfish. Just take the body in one hand, tail in the other, all the meat's in the tail. And we're not going to be doing anything with the front part. Give it a quick, about a quarter twist, and then just gently pull. And I need 2 bowls, well I'll put them in there, I'll just grab the meat out. Then you got the tail section left. You don't have to worry about anything else hanging on. This is the meat, and it's stuck down at the very tip of the tail. And all we need to do is just twist the little end tail section off, just the flipper part. Just twist it, pull it off, same as you did the body, and there you go. Meat comes off in one solid chunk. Just wiggle it out of the shell. And here's our crawfish meat. Save that. And just continue. Really doesn't take that long at all. Go through them all here, and then we'll get cooking. Alright, got the pan, or the pot I should say, rinsed out from the crawfish. This is what we're going to cook everything in. First thing we're going to do is cook down our veggies, and you can do it with olive oil or vegetable oil. I'm just going to spritz it here with a little bit of non-stick veggie spray. And got my veggies over here. I did 5 stalks of celery and the 1 medium white onion. Just a very, very fine dice. You can see how big the bits are there. Again, we want the veggies in this dish to pretty much be transparent. And last but not least, we have our shallots. And these again, just a real thin slice. That's all you need to do to them. Everything's going to go in, and we're just going to cook these for about 10 minutes until they get real soft and translucent. Alright, just starting to brown the veggies here, so in goes the garlic. I'm going to do 16 cloves worth. Now, if you're not a huge garlic lover like I am, you can certainly cut this down. We're going to give this a quick cook, just for a minute, just to sweat the garlic. Heat is on medium, by the way, for all this. Now we're going to put in a good cup of the Chardonnay. We're just going to cook that down until it reduces and the liquid is gone again. This is just going to impart some really nice flavors into the soup. Alright, liquid is just gone. Now we're going to put in half of our meat. Here's all you get out of that big 3-pound bag. So you can see it's not much. We're going to put in half of our crab. Let's see. Doesn't have to be precise. We're going to reserve half because we want it partially chunky and partially smooth. Did I say crab? I meant crawfish. And we're going to put in half of our crab. And this is what you get, slightly bigger bowl. Out of those 8 cans. It's packaged like tuna. Just open the cans and drain them really well. Alright, turning my heat down to low. Don't want anything to burn. Just mix this in real quick for the next step, which is salt and pepper. We're not going to use much. I'm going to throw in about, maybe a tablespoon of salt. And again, for the whole 2-gallon pot, that's nothing. And again, maybe a good tablespoon of fresh ground pepper. Now, just stir the skin. Again, make sure your heat is on low. This is just going to sit here and stay warm. Now we need a big bowl. Done with the garlic. Get some of the stuff out of the way here. We're going to be combining our clam juice and half and half. Let's see. Hold on, let me get my stuff together. Alright, I'm going to have to do this next part only because I'm doing such a large batch in 2 steps. What I need to do is combine the clam juice with our half and half and our flour, but this is like really the pot I should be doing it in. I could go get my huge one, but yeah, it's just a pain to wash. Although, you know, it might be easier. Yeah, I'm going to get my big one. Okay, grab my big pot, because what we need to do is whisk in our flour, right here, to our fat-free half and half and clam juice. So first thing is to dump all the liquids in. Okay, and to this we are going to whisk in 1.5 cups of our whole wheat flour. Alright, once that is very well combined, now we're going to turn the heat up to high on our main pot and we're going to pour this in. We're going to bring this up to a boil. Once it reaches a boil, just going to cook it for about a minute and it'll start to thicken up. While this is coming up, you need to be constantly stirring it. Now that we're almost to a boil, got a few minutes left, here's where I want to put in my ground red pepper. I waited because I don't want it to permeate and be really a part of the soup. I want it to be a subtle, separate layer. We're only going to do about a half teaspoon. So again, that's not going to give any kind of big punch or kick. Just give that little sweet heat. That's all you need. So now we'll just continue to take it to a boil. And then into the blender it's going to go for a quick puree. And again, we'll do this in batches. I rinsed out my big pot. We'll store it in there while we run it through the blender. Probably take, at least 4 or 5 batches. Alright, we are just coming to the boiling point. I know this part sucks. This did take quite a while. I've been stirring now for 20 minutes. But do not stop. Keep scraping the bottom. This will burn, especially near the end here, in a matter of seconds if you walk away. So, don't go in the other room, don't take a phone call, keep stirring it. If you have to walk away, take it off the burner immediately. But even then, you're chancing it. So I wanted to start rolling here. And then we're going to give it a 1-minute cook. Alright, got our minute cook. Now I've just killed the heat. We're going to take it off the burner. Just make sure it doesn't boil over. You can turn your heat down a bit if you need to. Keep stirring the bottom for a little bit here once it's off the heat, because it'll still burn very easily. And we're probably going to have a little bit charred on the bottom no matter what we do. There's really nothing we can do about it because we need to work the blender. But when you can, keep stirring this. Alright, now what we need to do is run batches through the blender. We're going to be running on high speed for about 20 seconds a batch. We're looking to absolutely puree this. Unlike the Thai bisque, I don't want any bits of the onions or the garlic or anything. I want a completely smooth, creamy texture. So that's what our blender is going to do for us. And I would suggest filling it up no more than 3/4 of the way. So how many it takes you depends on simply how much soup you're making. Yes, this is probably going to make a big mess no matter what I do. Oh well. I got my big pot off here and I'm going to be pouring it in there as I blend it through. Where did I put my lid? Here it is. Alright, so let's get blending. Previously messy trial and error here. Take the center cap out of your blender. Start off on a low setting. Work your way up to the high because it just went pow all over the place and I had a little bit of cleanup to do. Alright, last batch is done. Yes, it did make quite a mess here. I'll clean that up in a minute. Anyway, got the soup pureed in the new pot. I'm going to turn the heat up to medium here. It's already hot, but we're going to finish it off here. You can see how creamy and smooth it got. No more big chunks of onions or garlic or shallots or anything in there. So there's our beautiful bisque base. And now, all we have to do is add the rest. We're going to put in the rest of our meats. Got our crawfish. And our crab. And basically we're just going to bring everything up to temp. Just going to let it cook here for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to put in just a couple tablespoons of lemon juice. If you want to use fresh, that's fine too. I would do 4 or 5 fresh lemons. Beautiful. Smells really good. Doesn't look like much in this big pot, does it? That was about 80% of that other pot. That tells you how big this one is. Alright. I'm going to turn it down to a simmer actually, because I don't want to sit here and stir it. And in 10 minutes, just let it sit here and we'll be ready to plate. Alright, we are all set. I am very anxious to give this a taste. Great looking texture. I want some more crawfish in there. Where are they hiding? Can't believe how small this looks in this pot. There we go, there's one. Beautiful. Alright. Grab a spoon. Ooh, it's hot. I want to taste the soup base here. Mmm. Beautiful. Wow, that is really rich. I can taste everything in it. Just a little hint of the lemon. The crab is very potent. It's got the onion flavor, but silky smooth soup. Mmm. Perfect. All right. There you go. There is another hit. I'm going to be tempted to make this one again over and over. Not very expensive. Like I said, you can save a little bit by omitting the wine. And of course, you don't have to make this huge batch. You're cooking for just a normal family meal. This is going to cost you like 10-12 bucks. Big deal. Depends on what ingredients you have, of course. So there you go. There is my healthy crawfish and crab bisque. Definitely give this one a shot. This is an excellent recipe. I mean, not just for healthy food, for normal food. See you guys later.